Good morning, good Erev Shabbos. Thanks for tuning in to the Kila Chari Torah Halacha review for Friday, January 15th. New chapter here in the Sefer, halachically speaking. We'll speak about the various uses for salt and perspectives on salt in halacha. Most table salt, by way of introduction, he writes, is produced through evaporation. Water is pumped into salt deposits, which creates brine as the salt is dissolved in the water. This brine is heated and concentrated, evaporating the water and allowing the salt to crystallize. Crystals can be grown to many different sizes, as you see in the grocery store. Kosher salt is just salt that crystallizes into larger particles, which is particularly suited for salting meat to remove the blood from it. Sea salt, however, is generally produced by solar evaporation. Okay, so that's an explanation from the Star K Kashrus Agency down in Baltimore about where we get salt, for those who are wondering. Now, it says that you should not cut the bread on your table. So you have on your table, you have bread for hamotzi, which you're going to cut and slice and take a bite after you make hamotzi and distribute to everyone who's there. One should not cut the bread until salt is brought to the table. It says in Tractate Berachot, also brought in the Rosh and Shulchan Aruch. Since our some maintain that since our bread is tasty without salt, you'll often find a little pinch of salt is mixed into the bread, or maybe even more than a pinch. There's no need to dip the challah in salt, says the Rambam in Hilchos Brachos. However, the Ramah, as well as others, say that it's a mitzvah to bring salt to the table before cutting the bread, so we do wait until there's salt on the table before you say hamotzi. The Mishnah Berurah says that, from the Chavetz Chaim, says that although there's no need to dip the bread in salt, one should dip it 3 times for Kabbalistic reasons. Those reasons apparently are explained in Magen Avram, Machzis HaShekel, Ben Ish Chai, Parshas Amor, Shulchan Aruch Harav, Aruch HaShulchan, Revivos Ephraim. Feel free to look all those up. Happy to give you the references. So no need to dip the bread in salt. However, we do it according to these poskim, and some even suggest dipping 3 times. Here's a few reasons. Some Sfarim offer the following logic. The letters of Melach and Lechem equal 78 in Gematria. We're getting into Jewish numerology here. God's name equals 26. 26 times 3 is 78. So there's the reason right there. It wasn't so obvious to me. Some poskim say the salt should be sprinkled on the table from the salt shaker prior to Natilas Yadayim, so everything is ready to go. After you wash, you can just get right to slicing the bread, dipping it in salt, and eating it. The Sfarim state that the bread should be dipped in salt rather than salt sprinkled on the bread. Others are not concerned about this and sprinkle salt on the bread. So either way you do it or have seen it done, keep doing what you're doing. Some poskim suggest that the salt should be brought to the table by the women as a reminder of Lot's wife, Mrs. Lot, who turned into a pillar of salt in the story back in Bereshis that we read. If no salt is available, one can dip the bread into any food that contains salt. So there you go. Let's see. Since we're talking about bringing the salt, here's the last point on that. Normally, we're not supposed to interrupt between the bracha and the eating, right? You say the bracha, motzi lechem min haaretz, slice the bread, or if it's already sliced, take a piece and eat it. However, one may speak about something connected to the meal or to the blessing. So if you said hamotzi and you realized right away, we forgot the salt, you're allowed to say, please bring the salt, or gesture with your hands. Since you're supposed to avoid any hefsek, any interruption before swallowing some bread, it is best practice to make sure that the salt is on the table before you wash your hands for the meal, so everything is all ready to go and you don't need to remember this halacha. Oh yes, I'm allowed to ask for the salt. There it is. Please join us again. Let me give you the times for candlelighting this afternoon and for Shabbat. So let's see. This afternoon, candlelighting 4:48 p.m. Mincha Kabbalat Shabbat. If you'd like to daven at the time when others are davening, unfortunately we still don't have our Friday night minyan in Shul, but 4:50, 10 minutes to 5 is the time we'll be davening Mincha and Kabbalat Shabbos. Tomorrow morning, the plan is to make Shachris at 10 o'clock or 10:15 for the downstairs group. So if you'd like to join us for that, and you've signed up, please do. 10 o'clock is the end of closing time for sign up. And tomorrow afternoon, we end Shabbat at 5:55, 5 minutes to 6. And about 10 minutes later, we'll have the Zoom Havdalah, 6:05. Everyone is warmly invited to join us for that. Have a wonderful Shabbos, and we'll see you afterwards. Bye-bye.